Morning all.
Morning.
Morning too. Hello. Hello. Kwanza nipike chai bana. Leo imeniamka asubuhi sana. Yeah.
Good morning, class.
Morning. Morning.
Lee. Unanipata?
Nika unasikika?
Bada dog.
Ongeza kwa sauti yenu hiyo.
Yes.
Nakupata dog.
Yes, how are you?
Fine.
Yeah, fine.
I'm not getting you clearly, so you wish to proceed. Yeah, about time. I see we are so few. Men are joining. Currently over 200. So if you allow, then we proceed. That last time we were looking at public expenditure. I hope you are seeing my screen. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. We were looking at public expenditure, and we saying that this financing of state activities for the government to perform specific functions, and therefore, one is administrative function, two is protective function, three is the social function, and four is the development function. For the government to perform these functions, then it must generate funds and spend them accordingly. And therefore, we redefine public finance to involve financing of those state activities to perform those functions, and therefore it focuses on public revenue and public expenditure. We did look at public revenue as to be the sources of income, what the government gets so that it generates those incomes. So we saw this ranges from tax, fines, state property, fees, internal borrowing, external borrowing, and the like. Then we looked at how does the government spend. Then we say that government expenditures are guided by key principles, and there are about 5 principles. Principles of sanction, authority therefore, principle of maximum social benefit, principle of sound financial administration, principle of economy. So that's what we did discuss last time. So if you look at this, therefore, that public expenditure will therefore revolve around issues of income and issues of expenditure for the government. As we look at sources of income, there is an important source of income which we refer to as the balance of payment. The balance of payment, in simple layman's terms, is none other than that which the government generates out of its dealings at international level. That a summary of our country's international transactions. This is what gives us the balance of payment. It therefore focuses on what we refer to as the receipts and expenditures arising from the international transactions. So what are some of these international transactions? That the government basically has its own way of doing things and trading with other countries. So when we bring in things, we pay. So that becomes an outflow. When we export, for that matter, we gain revenue. So that becomes an income. So to this end, therefore, public balance of payment must and hence is giving us what the government does so that it brings about issues of whatever payments of exports and imports that that country is involved in. Basically, balance of payment is divided into two. It has two main accounts, the current account and the capital account. Current account basically shows us the balances between exports and imports of invisible and invisible items. When we talk of visible and invisible items, what we mean is these are goods and services. Goods are visible. Services are invisible. So when we take maybe nurses out of the country, whatever they earn, that out of that service, that becomes part of what constitutes the balance of payment. When we export, say, tea, coffee, whatever that we get, that's a visible item. That constitutes what we refer to as a visible item, and these are what is considered in the current account of the balance of payment. On the other hand, we normally get loans and foreign aid. Say, for example, during droughts, during El Nino, our partner states sent in support. So those are foreign aid. They are also receipts of the government. They are external sources. Even in terms of what is in the current account, this constitutes external sources. And therefore, what we get is part and parcel of the sources of income of the country. We get loans like from the World Bank, from the European countries, and the like. All these that we get is part and parcel of the capital account. So to this end, therefore, we need
Wametoa Nikule kameenda kunywa chai kwanza ndio arudi.
Like ndio
I'm
anaongea.
within. I'm using my phone as the source of internet. So when somebody calls, it becomes a problem. It switches off. But we'll proceed with the lecture. So I'm saying that if we export more, that means we receive more out of the international transactions and pay less out of what we are getting as imports. Then the balance of payment is said to be in surplus. The converse then is a deficit, that what we are receiving as total receipts is less than what we are paying. When we pay more and receive less, then we are in deficit. But when the two are the same, then we talk of an equilibrium point. We say that that balance of payment is balanced. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to proceed further and look at is my screen moving?
No.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
We look at now the gross domestic product. What is gross domestic product, or commonly referred to as the GDP? Many times you have come across this term, GDP. GDP is nothing other than the total market value of all finished goods and services in a country. In simple layman terms, what we are producing and consuming locally, what we produce in Kenya and we consume in Kenya, that's what we say gross domestic product. So the goods we produce, the services we give within this country in a year, that is what constitutes the GDP. Remember, I've talked of visible and invisible items in the balance of payment. That GDP, therefore, is a monetary measure we must quantify. The goods, we must quantify the services and look at it in terms of the annual market output. That annual output that gives us how much the market value constitutes the GDP. And number two is that only final goods are included. What I've said is that those goods that we produce and consume locally, what we are giving in terms of goods and services that are purchased within the country for final use, but not for resale in the outside world. Implications are that you plant Sukuma Wiki, you take to Kibabi University Gate, you are selling. That is an internal use, final use. So that is what constitutes the GDP. But when you produce maize and you export that maize to Somalia, that becomes an external, and therefore that is not a product that goes to the GDP. So we need to understand that what we produce and consume locally is what is considered under the gross domestic product. What are some of the things that we produce and consume locally? Look at agricultural production. Like sukuma wiki, the way I've said, onions, maize, and what have you. Look at the mineral production. Things like fluorspar, soda ash. These are things that we are producing locally and consuming locally through our productive industries. Then we have industrial production. What we produce as raw materials, we process them through our industries and sell them within our local market. This is what GDP is all about. That another aspect of public finance is the gross national product. Gross national product, unlike the gross domestic product, indicates the total market value of all goods and services which generate income in the country. Remember, we have that which we are producing and consuming locally. So to that, we also add what we generate and sell externally to other countries. Therefore, whatever we produce and consume locally, plus that which we produce and sell to other countries, that's what constitutes the gross national product. In essence, therefore, gross national product is gross domestic product plus the net factor income. What is this that we are saying that is the net factor income? Net factor income is what we talked about in the balance of payment, that we are looking at imports and exports. How much are we exporting and how much are we importing? That difference is what gives us the net factor income. So GDP plus the net factor income, what we export minus what we import, that gives us a gross national product. We must understand, because these are things that you will be coming across, that GDP and GNP are both public finance items. That ordinarily GNP must be, and I want to insist on this, GNP is expected to be greater than the GDP. Why? Because of that net factor income that is added. We expect that the net factor income, which arises from the balance of payment, shall be in surplus. So if it is in surplus, GNP will be greater than GDP. But if it is in deficit, then GDP will be greater than GNP, because we must finance that surplus from our domestic market. We must pay those debts from our domestic market. And this is why you look at the Kenya country as it is now, that the argument we are borrowing too much, and even a child who is not yet born already has a debt to pay in the international market, meaning we are importing more and exporting less. Perhaps this is what the Kenya government is working on, so that we finance most things locally. So how do we finance most things locally? We must pay for those goods and services ourselves. How do we pay? We must pay taxes. How do we increase? We must pay more taxes. That's why we are being taxed heavily on almost everything. We shall revisit this during our discussion on taxation. But those two circumstances are when the GDP might be more than the GNP. The main reason is when the exports are more than the imports, that gives us a net factor income that is negative, that is supposed to
Sasa unajua sasa shida ni alizaa mapema. Sasa watoto watabaki wapi? Hiyo tu ndo shida. Bure angekuwa ashapata kazi kitambo. Unajua sasa yeye akienda kutafuta hiyo kazi yenyewe like ako na limit juu ya watoto.
Wanasema nyamaza.
Hebu mute mic yako.
But unajua saa zingine love haikuangi enough.
Bana.
Wewe unasema hebu mute mic.
Kauli za mapema.
Nataka kuzaa mapema bana.
Ni mbaya.
Wewe.
Ni aje bana.
Mbona sana. Naona answers ndio mimi sana Paul.
Wewe. Oh, tuta.
Weka mawe.
Wewe.
Ni mbaya.
Chekele.
Sasa watu wa kuzaa wanataka
Good morning, comrades. I'm about to start the class. For everybody to keep quiet.
Wala?
Bwana
Mnyamazi ni watoto.
Mimi habari naongea.
Nyamaza.
Hata mtanyamaza.
Shanina naongea.
Nimekataa imagine.
Chekele.
I said everybody to keep quiet.
Nyamaze.
Ndika noise makers. Wewe baba na nyamaza.
Today,
Wewe. Lecture amenitumia. Nyamaza. Msikize.
Wewe bado nyamaza.
Wewe.
I'm back.
who is that talking? The lecturer is talking.
Ati I'm back. Nani na soprano ati I'm back.
Elbarik.
Kings Demotics. How are you?
Nataka mnyamaze. Watu wanasi wamenyamaza.
Bwana ni mbaya bwana.
Weka mawe.
Comrade, what is this you are talking about? What is Weka Mawe?
Bana,
You know,
simeleka
I'm
na
very
simeka.
surprised.
This noise maker.
Kijana unaongea na ukomea, nunua data.
Are we there? Are we there?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are there.
So what I was saying is that GNP can be lower than GDP if the net factor income is negative. But basically, GNP should be more than the GDP of any country.
Yeah.
Now, as we proceed, we want now to look at the key instrument of public finance. This key instrument is what we call a budget. So we want to look at budgeting. And as we look at budgeting, we look at it as a process of drawing up a detailed financial statement regarding the expected incomes and now the planned expenditures. Remember, the issues of income and expenditure, this is what is the public finance. So the process of drawing up this detailed quantitative and financial statement regarding the incomes and expenditures, this is what budgeting is all about. And therefore, a tool for planning is a budget because it gives you what you expect to receive and how you intend to spend. It is in this regard that individuals, including you, organizations, and a country must prepare a budget. What is the purpose of a budget? A budget will help you identify the sources of income and the expected amount. How much do you expect to get from what source? And how much is it? It helps you evaluate performance. That basically, because it's a planning tool, it helps us evaluate how are we performing, especially in terms of financial and economic terms. Because of this, therefore, it helps us to make decisions. Decisions on what to spend in. Remember, we looked at principles of public expenditure, and one principle was maximum social benefit. So we take a decision, is this project going to maximize the social benefit? Or what is it? It is basically a coordination tool because it coordinates the activities of the various departments which are intended to meet a common goal. Look at the government and its functions. We say it has protective function, administrative function, social function, and development function. So how do we coordinate all these? We coordinate through financing, and this is done through budgeting process. So the main intentions are savings and investments. Even you as an individual, you must work towards promoting savings and investment habits. Therefore, the budget, if well planned, should support and enhance savings and investments. But because we don't just make a budget, we make a budget with certain aims and objectives. So it must help us as individuals, as institutions, as a country, that we meet the stated aims and objectives within the given timeframes. Those are the key and the main purposes and reasons as to why we do budgeting. But what are the components of a budget? We have already seen that it is a quantitative financial statement about the expected income and the planned expenditure. So a budget must give us two components. One, the income component, and two, the expenditure component. When you talk of the income, that's the revenue component, which contains what are our sources of revenue and what are the expected amount. So how much we expect to receive will determine the level of activities that shall take place within that budget period. Even to you as an individual, how much you expect in a semester will determine what activities will you undertake within that semester. You expect to get your help. You expect to get your scholarship. You expect to get maybe from your parents, your relatives, and what have you. So if you expect to get 50,000, then you realize that you will plan for these 50,000, and the nature of activities that you'll be involved in will be worth that amount. But if you are only depending on help and your parents, and you expect to get 30,000, so you will plan within that 30,000. So income is important. It determines the level of activities that you will undertake. Then the expenditure component, the expenses now, the outflows. What are you going to spend with what you have expected? How much are you going to spend on each item? That in any expenditure period, we must allocate what we intend to get to the various items that we wish to accomplish. As a student, you are planning that you need to have your academics, you need to have your rent, you need to have your food. So you see, you will prioritize those items. And if you have more, then you can plan for Valentine, which is coming this Saturday. So this is something that we need to consider if you have enough. But if you don't have enough, then Valentine becomes a luxury. You do away with it. It does not appear. So the same way we consider the balance of payment, the budget is also considered in the same way. If what we expect to get exceeds what we are going to spend, then the budget is said to be in surplus. If we plan, we spend more than what we receive, then that's a deficit. But if we spend strictly what we receive, then we say that it's balanced budget or at equilibrium. Many times, we must strive to have a surplus because that surplus will give us the savings. What we have as the surplus will be the savings, which we may use during unprecedented times. If that does not work, then we work to have a balanced or be at equilibrium. But never shall you work on a deficit because deficit financing is a very expensive affair. There are basically three types of budgets: personal budgets, organizational institutional budgets, and the national budgets. Organization, we are basically looking at this as a business budget. Let us look at each one of them, and I wish that you look at it and consider more of the personal budget, because this is what is more relevant to you, that will help you and support you in terms of your financial management. So personal budgets, these are budgets prepared by individuals. And as an individual, you must specify what are your set goals, what are your set objectives, and how you are going to achieve them. That for you to prepare a personal budget, you must consider the sources of income. Where are you getting the money? How are you going to finance? Is it from employment? Is it from savings? Is it from dividends? Is it from salaries and wages? Is it from work study? Is it from help? Is it from donations? Or what have you? Then now, plan on what are you going to spend on. So spending, this is now the outflows. Remember the two components, incomes and expenditures. Public revenue, public expenditure. Remember what we have said about the budget. It has the two components, the incomes and expenditures. So even to you as an individual, what are your incomes? What are your expenditures? What are you going to spend on? Basically, as an individual, basic things must come first. So what are the basic things? Things like food, shelter, clothing must be given priority. Then look at the secondary needs. Your education, perhaps having a soft life. Then look at those other tertiary needs. Because Valentine's and what have you. So for us to do this, we must always ensure that our aims and objectives fall within the income bracket. How much are we going to receive? We must plan so that we remain within the income that we expect. That as an individual, those affected must be involved. You are an individual, a student for that matter. Involve your parents, involve your guardians, involve your sponsors, so that they understand your needs. Then always start with basic needs and give them preference over the secondary and other tertiary things. Things of entertainment, discourse, things of Valentine, these are tertiary. And always look back and see, how are you receiving the income? Are they as projected? And how are you spending? So that you constantly review. If you are getting more, then you can appropriate more in the budget and spend more. If you are getting less, then you need austerity measures to cut down on the expenditures. Because some things may come up as emergencies and unforeseen circumstances, like the changes in price. You have budgeted that unga will be at this. Then suddenly there's a shortfall in the supply of maize and unga goes up. So you must be cautious of that. So that is what you need to consider. So look at this carefully. This is a hypothetical example of a personal budget. And please note this keenly. I'm going to explain this. You can also prepare your own on the basis of this illustration. That a budget has two components, income and expenditures. What are some of the incomes that you as an individual has? It might be salary, it might be wages, it might be your work study. So you anticipate for the next 3 months, this semester, January, February, March, you expect to be getting 80,000 out of your wages, out of your work study. So you are anticipating 80,000 every month. Then all those other sources, I've lumped them together as other sources. That in January you are coming from home, so you expect to get 2,000 from your parents or guardians. But February, they are very busy planting and tilling the farms, so they will send you nothing. In March, because the semester is moving towards the end, they might remember and send you 1,200. So what does this mean? In January, therefore, the total you expect will be 10,000. In February, you have 8,000. And in March, you expect to get a total of 9,200. So how do you plan for your expenditures? Basic needs first. So number one is food. In January, you have come from home, you have carried some maharange, for that matter. You have carried some things from home. So you anticipate that you'll spend 3,000 on food. In February, there will be the semester will be tough, and Wasike will be giving cuts and pushing you. So you anticipate that in this February, you will also have a special day, Valentine. So you are taking care of Valentine. You will take your best person out. So you budget. So on your normal budget of 3,000, you add there 400 chips kuku or whatever soda. So you have budgeted for that. There's an additional 400 for the month of February. In the month of March, you say now exams and cuts and everything will be there. So perhaps you need to take more tea. So you say you make a provision of 200 shillings. So that will be for the extra teas that you'll be taking. Look at item 2, clothing, because we talked about food, shelter, and clothing. In terms of clothing, you have come from home, so we need to see you a changed person. New year with new things. Let's not see you in the same dress you were in last year. So you make a provision that you will buy clothes worth 1,600. In February, you don't want to buy anything. Then in March, you want to buy something so that when you go home, they see you in a different dress, not the ones they're used to seeing you in. So you're budgeting for that. In terms of shoes, we want to see you that the new year, you have a new pair of shoes. in January. So in terms of February, you want to give a gift to your Valentine. So if you are planning to give a gift, like the palm shoe, so you are budgeting for it that you will spend 1,800 to buy shoes for your Valentine. Then in March, you don't spend because the shoe you bought in January is what you will use to go home. They will see you in a new type of shoes. Of course, rent must be paid. It's key. So you pay rent 1,200 every month. You must travel from where you are to the university and back. So you make it, that's a constant. And you intend to save whatever objective that you are saving for. Maybe to buy a touch phone because we are teaching online. Maybe you want to save for purposes of a given activity. Remember, we have talked about savings. So you plan also to save. That in January, you'll save 1,800. In February, you'll save 2,000. And in March, you'll save 1,500. So that you meet a given objective, a set aim. And these savings can also be used during unprecedented times when there is that change in price. You can fall back. So with this in mind, then you realize that the total expenditures are 8,900 for January, 9,200 for February, 7,600 for March. That is our expected income and the planned expenditure. But what is the general outlook of the budget? Is it a surplus or a deficit? So look at January. You are getting 10,000, expecting 10,000. You are planning to spend 8,900. That gives you a surplus of 1,100. Maybe from the month of December, while at home, you spend and you had a balance of 200. So that means you are projecting that by the end of January, you will have 1,300 with you, what you will carry forward. So you will carry forward 1,300. Now look at the month of February. Is it in surplus or deficit? You are getting 8,000, you are spending 9,200. So you have a deficit of 1,200. How do you finance that deficit? You have a balance of 1,300 from the previous month, which is January. So if you utilize that, then you will have a balance of 100 shillings at the end of February. For the month of March, you are anticipating to get 9,200. You plan to spend 7,600. So you anticipate to get a surplus of 1,600. From the previous month of February, you will have saved 100, which you carry forward. Therefore, by end of March, we anticipate that you will have 1,700. I want to pause so that we understand this. If there is any issue on this, this is a hypothetical case which you can adopt and also have yours on the basis of your sources of income and your planned expenditures and how to see the general outlook of your budget. I pause to wait for student reactions on the same, if any.
Zoom kiasi.
Yes?
You zoom.
You want me to zoom?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the budget?
So much.
Hello, Doc. Hello, Doc. Hello.
Yes.
And that.
What are you saying, class? Na ndo mnasumbua.
So these are organizational budgets, like universities, schools, and what have you. They are part of government departments' budgets. So they are prepared for purposes of meeting specific goals and as for the given in under individuals. So the main reason is that they coordinate department. Like in the university, we have academic, we have research, we have student affairs, we have schools and faculties, we have students, everything. So coordination among those departments. And such budgets follow a laid down procedure. What is the procedure? Respective sections and departments prepare draft budgets, which are forwarded to the relevant departments and authorities. That the final budget is then amalgamated and adjustments thereof are made with alterations. So with this, therefore, it calls for an evaluation to monitor the actual performance against the plan, which is we have also said about in the personal budget. So we must always correct. If we are overspending on one item, we must correct. If we are underspending, we have to do the betterment. Those are the appropriate steps that can be taken. But generally, when you look at business budgets, we are talking about the inflows and outflows of funds. So in business, unlike personal budgets, these are called cash flow budgets because they are only giving us cash forecasts in terms of the incomes and expenditures of a business. How are the cash flows coming in? And how are we spending on the same? And the format is similar to that of the personal budgets stated earlier. That's what we can talk about under business budgets. That you look at this, these are business book point investment limited. I have just made it simple that we have 3 months, then we have sales, salaries, wages, rent, and raw materials. So if you look at this, then you notice that sales, this being a business, that is what the income of the business is. Salaries will be an expenditure, wages will be an expenditure, rent will be an expenditure, raw materials will be an expenditure. So with this in mind, therefore, you can also prepare the cash flow budget the same way, the same format as we did for the personal budget. So at your own free time, see if you can make a budget out of this information and check if truly the budget is viable or not. So you can have that and practice with this. Next, we look at is the national budget. And the national budget, I want us to pay more attention the way we have paid to personal budget. National budget have 3 things. One, the financial account of the previous year. If we are in 2026, this 25-26, then the previous year is 24-25. So we must present the account of that time, the actual account. Then now, we must provide the revised estimates of the current year, 25-26, and then project what is the budget estimate for the coming year, 26-27. So there are 3 budgets in one. That of the previous year, that of the current year, and now we project for the next year. How do we project the budget for the coming year? We make 2 serious assumptions. that what is happening in the current year, the tax rates and expenditure policies shall continue. Then we make propositions to change certain things. This is what is provided for in the budget paper that is presented in Parliament. That these propositions provide a description of the fiscal policies of the government and the financial plans corresponding to it. And I want to refer back to the Gen Z riots that we had. Remember the fiscal policy of the government as at that time, when they wanted now to tax so many things. The fiscal plans that was corresponding to those policies, this is what angered the Gen Zs, and this is what made them cause chaos. That the government was planning for certain things. It had brought in the policies. It forced the government to shelve those policies and the financial plans. So as we propose the coming year, we want to say that, yes, we are going to tax people on 1, 2, 3. This will be the tax rates because of this and this. We want to generate this amount so that we meet this and this for the government. And whatever is met goes back to the functions of the government, the 4. Whatever that is done is geared towards increasing the revenues of the government. And the expenditure policies should therefore follow the public expenditure principles that we talked about. This is what we are talking about. That national budgets or public budgets are classified into 2. The functional classification and the economic classification. Now, when we talk about functional classification, functional is based on the functions of the government. We have looked at the functions of the government, but under the UN, the functions of the government are provision of general services, provision of social services, provision of economic services, and those others that are classified as an allocatable category. So, what goes into general services? Issues of administrative function, issues of protective function, they are classified as general services under the UN. Social services, we talked about health, education, and what have you. These are social services. Economic, these are things that go toward the development, because we talked of development function, economic growth, expenditures in agriculture, expenditure to develop the industry. Those are what it is. But anything that we cannot classify, therefore, comes under 4, the functions of the government. The second classification is the economic classification. Now, with economic classification, we are basing this budget on the mode of its financing. Is it by government? Is it by foreign aid? Is it by grants? Is it by what? So these 2 classifications are a key. And now, how do we go about preparing a good national budget? A good national budget, therefore, encompasses the 2. When they do this, then they adopt what we call program and performance-based budgeting system, PPBS. Program and performance-based budgeting system. What is this program and performance-based budgeting system? This one is only based on the activities, functions, and projects of the government. The activities, functions, and projects. Talk of the activities and functions, this is the functional aspect. Talk of projects, this is now the economic, what spurs economic growth. And basically, this is aimed at improving execution of expenditure policies of the government. How do they develop the policies and how do they execute them? But PPBS serves 4 main purposes. Remember, we said that the principle of economy, resources are scarce, and therefore there should be no wastage. So PPBS arises out of scarcity of resources relative to a wide range of society needs. That under PPBS, we are not just focusing on a project, but we want to be keen with the steps that we follow to achieve those project goals. We said a budget must have goals, set objectives. So if we are doing that, we are following to achieve that projected goal, yes, we'll provide feedback so that of the decisions made and constant review. If we do this, then we shall avoid to create decisions of program and performance-based budgeting system. This justifies why we should have PPBS. But PPBS follows certain steps. Number one, we must therefore have a clear definition of goals and objectives so that they inform the various policies and measures of the government. We must clearly define what our goals is. We want to go to Singapore. We want to be Singapore. How do we get there? We must develop the road networks, communication, industries, education. That one must be clear. There's need for us to analyze critically what are the costs and what are the benefits. Cost-benefit analysis. If we do a road, what will be the costs? What will be the benefits? If we do a hospital, if we do affordable housing, what are the costs? What shall be the benefits? There is need for us to project the current programs and policies and relate them to future benefits or problems. If we do affordable housing now, what are the future benefits? What are the future associated problems? This is what is necessary. But implementation of program and performance-based budgeting system has also a number of challenges. One is the problem of multiplicity. One objective may be a target of more than one program and vice versa. We want to build a road, tarmac it. We want to make a duo from Musikoma to Kandui. That's a project. But as we do that, what are other things that come up? We are improving the lighting system. We are improving communication system, accessibility. You see, it is one project, but it has a multiple objectives being achieved. Many times we have the problem of quantification, where some things are difficult to quantitatively measure the result. How do you measure the effectiveness of Dancun Wasike, the lecturer, my teaching? How do you measure? How do you measure that the people of Bungoma town are happy with the duo? It is difficult because some officers just get to the office, put their code there, sip tea, read the newspaper, and go. They do not deliver. There's a challenge with flexibility of some political systems. Some are flexible, others are not. Compare Uhuru's regime, compare it with Ruto's. Do you find that one government regime is rigid? Do you find that some things are difficult? These are the issues. How about availability of analytical skills? Are our people well prepared to execute the program? Many times we have limited skills in analysis. Why are we having buildings collapse? Why? Have the engineers slept on the job? Why are we having many patients die in hospitals arising from operations? Why are we having for journalists in the house? Why are we having problems with the reporting? Journalist A reports this way, journalist B reports that way, and from the same incident, it's contradictory. We are limited in terms of skills. Why are we having improper records? Those in business. Why can't we keep proper records? If we do them properly, why do we have audit queries? How is our accounting system? Many times, PPBS should be less aggregative for it to be efficient. But mostly, it's more aggregative. So if it's more aggregative, like for the case of Kenya, then it means we shall spend more. You say that this project will cost 10 billion. At the end of the project, it's going to cost 15 billion. Why? It's just because of the accounting system. And these are the key challenges of PPBS. And we must face them because PPBS, this is the format of the national budget. How do we go about this? Is the way. So we need to look at this and we need to think about it and we must look at it more keenly. Any question that far? We want to run through the charts.
Hello, Doc. Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If I may ask, what are the problems associated with the program and performance of based budgeting system?
Problems?
Yes.
The problems are what we have just listed.
Can you go far?
What
deeper?
have we listed? One is the problem of multiplicity, where one objective might be a target of more than one program. And I gave an example of the duo from Bungoma to Kandoi. The issues of quantification. How do you quantify the services of Dancun and Wasike? It's indeed a problem to quantify the services of some or to quantify some projects. Look at affordable housing. How do we quantify? Look at issues of SHA. As for a case, how do we quantify the effectiveness? Issues of flexibility, which are based on the political systems. How flexible and responsive is the political systems? Look at what happened yesterday. The SG of ODM was thrown out. So, how is it going to affect the management of the party? Look at now the government. If we have voted 10 billion to a given project, and there's a change in terms of the PS, in terms of the CS, what will be the effect? These are the challenges. alongside those of analytical skills and the accounting system, the way I've said. These are the problems of program and performance-based budgeting systems. Are we there? It's there being projected?
Yes.
Somebody says we'll go faster.
Thank
Yes,
you, Doc.
because I have another class, another meeting to attend to. Kasongo tutam, hiyo sio yetu. I need a gap. Hiyo ni yenu.
Hello.
Yes. Please
If I
speak.
may ask,
You can speak.
if I may ask, what are the external sources of government revenue?
External sources of government revenue, we have looked at them. This is what comes in terms of the balance of payment, international transactions. This is what comes in terms of the gross national product. This is what comes in terms of external borrowings from IMF and the World Bank and the like. This is what comes in terms of foreign aid during unprecedented times like El Nino and droughts. These are the external sources. This is what comes in terms of the gross national product.
Hello, Doc.
Thank you. Mwingine?
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When preparing personal budget, it is necessary to include even emergency column.
Is it necessary to
include emergency column?
No.
Money budgeted to emergency
you
issues.
What's a budget? This is something, a quantitative statement that is giving you what you expect and how you plan to spend. We don't plan for emergencies. But when they occur, then we should see how to finance and take care of them. So as a person, you don't plan for emergencies. It will not be an emergency because you plan for it now. The same way I was giving an example of Valentine. It's not an emergency. You know that in February 14th is normally Valentine's Day. So what happens? You plan for it. It cannot be an emergency. Emergencies are those things that are unprecedented, unexpected. So how do you invest? Do investments grow? We shall look at investment briefly in the next lecture.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
How does zero-based budgeting differ from incremental budgeting in terms of cost, control, and accountability?
Zero-based budget?
Yes.
How does it?
How does it differ from incremental budgeting in terms of cost, control, and accountability?
What is a zero budget in the first place? You see, when you zero rate anything, it means there is nothing. Consequently, therefore, you are spending as it comes. There is no pre-plan. And the effect of this, therefore, is like you are getting from the hand to the mouth. The hand to the mouth. So, the effect of this is what we refer to as haphazard tendency to make decisions. Remember what we talked about under the PBBS. In an event we don't have PBBS, there is always a haphazard tendency to create decisions. So that will be the effect. Chris is asking, when preparing personal budget, it's necessary to include emergency? No. I've answered that one. Ian Otieno, you have your raised hand?
Hello, morning, Doc.
Yes.
As we can see, our government has just shared the budget for this year. So
Our
my
government?
question is, our government has just shared the budget for this year. So my question is,
for the coming year.
Yeah. So my
They have released
question
the
is,
budget statement.
Yeah. Yeah, so my question is this. What are the preparations they have made before releasing this budget?
Now, this takes me back to the slide on preparation of the budget. How do we prepare a budget? The national budget follows the following steps, which we have enumerated. Departments, like now in the university, will make their respective proposals on the budget items and expenditures they intend to have. This will be taken to management that will collect them and have a university budget. The university budget will be sent to the ministry. The ministry will have its own ministerial budget. The ministry budget is what will be sent to the finance ministry. So each department, each section will send its budget to the ministry, and each ministry sends its budget to the treasury. So the treasury now sits how much are they expecting to get and plan on what they should spend in on the basis of the government priorities. So once that is done, then it is proposed. And the government policies are given in the budget statement, which should be read in the parliament, I think this week, if not next week, that gives indication on what the government intends to do. So when it comes to May, June, so the government will be giving the budget estimates on the basis of its budget policy statement that guides what the intentions of the government, the set goals and objectives of the government for the coming financial year. That is the process, that's the procedure. Michael, I'll not add speed. Two participants have their hands up. Please unmute.
Hello, Doc.
What are the stages followed by PPBS? Munauliza vitu yenye nimepitia.
Hello, Doc.
Uliza maswali yenye nijapitia.
Hello.
Yes, please proceed.
What are the possible solutions for the problems of PBBS?
What?
What are the possible solutions for the problems of PBBS?
Possible solutions?
Yeah.
Hiyo utafute bwana. Ama?
Yes, hello, Doc.
Come and see me in the office on Tuesday. We'll discuss that.
Yeah, my question is if we can use the optimization models like linear programming in budget allocation.
Optimization, yes. What about optimization?
Like, can we use optimization models, for example, linear programming, when doing budget allocation?
What do you want to optimize? A budget, in simple layman's terms, this is a quantitative financial statement about the expected income and the planned expenditures. What do you want to optimize there? There is nothing to optimize. You can only optimize if you already have the budget in place. Before that, there's nothing like optimization, and therefore those optimization models like the linear programming model, which we teach business students, does not apply in this case. Today I'm very ruthless and very particular with the answers.
Hello, Doc.
Next. Wenye maswali uliza, nataka tumalize bwana.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah, you have talked about the government increasing the rate of tax in order to lower the rate of borrowing.
Yes.
Despite having more rate of corruption and lack of analytical skills, How can
Yes.
the government do away with this? With corruption and employing of more qualified skills.
So issues of pilferage, we shall look at them under taxation, where we talk about tax evasion and tax avoidance. Why is the KRA not meeting its tax targets? It's because of tax avoidance and tax evasion. And we shall see how do we go about to curb those tax evasion. Kindly note that question. After discussing budgets, we'll look at taxation. Under taxation, allow me to respond to that after we have done that.
Okay, thanks.
From personal budgets, where does balance from last month, which is indicated as 200, come from? I said, assume that we had a balance of 200 shillings from the month of December, which on 1st January, you have 200 shillings in your pocket. You see, January is not just coming from the blues. It's after December. So assume you had that balance from the previous month. That's where the 200 is a hypothetical figure. That's why when you go to February, we are looking at the balance of 100 shillings from the month of January. Eugene?
Yes, hello, Doc. If I may ask, how does the GDP impact a country's economy?
How does the GDP?
Gross domestic impact a country's economy?
What is GDP? We said GDP
gross domestic product
consists of what we have produced and consumed locally. We said that GDP is a monetary item. GDP, only final goods are included. What we produce and consume locally. So if you are buying, I gave an example of sukuma wiki. You are producing sukuma wiki on your farm. Then you go and sell it at the gate. Then you get money. You are producing and consuming locally. Don't you think that that is an economic aspect of the person who is producing and selling locally, and the person who is selling to you to consume at the university? It's going to help the person economically in simple layman's terms. That's how it's supporting. So the money is circulating, and you can get 1, 2, 3 out of what you have produced locally and sold locally. You get that? Na kwa hii nitauliza swali, watu mtapambana nayo kwa mtihani, mtashangaa. Drafting personal budget, try. If you have a problem, please, you are free to consult. You are free to consult.
Hello.
Thank you so much. I don't
Let me ask
see
that.
any serious question.
Hello.
I think we can adjourn at that point to allow me prepare. Thank you for having this class. This class has been transmitted live from the capital city of Kenya.
Yeah, Nairobi.
So this is the essence of online. I'm on official duty and I have transmitted the class right from the capital city of this country. Thank you so much. We are adjourned until next week on Thursday. Please, the class shall start at 7 next week.
Kuna mtu amepatiwa kana uliza swali. That's bad.
Nena piga
Doc ameenda.
Hello, Doc. I have a question.
Ask.
Ask question here. Ask your question.
Any serious question?
Haki hao wenye wanaurusha maswali za ajabu. Hizo swali mmetoa wapi? Najua ni watu wa big.
Can you mute?
I wanted to show you something. Like we have guys who wanted to know how to download, straight for the next 2 or 3 minutes.
Sijui kwa nini lakini mara moja ilikangulia ilikuwa offside.
So hope you are watching. I'm just going to let me mute everyone. No? I'm going to show you how you can access the notes offline. Just how long I get my earphone to avoid this echo. So I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you can see my phone. There's an app that we are going to download. There's an app that you are going to download from the Play Store. So for you to access the e-learning on your phone and download the notes, okay? I'm just going to demonstrate that on how you can install an app from your phone. Then you can now read the notes. I've seen people asking where the notes. The notes are on the e-learning. Now, instead of you going to the e-learning each and every time, okay? Instead of you going to the e-learning each and every time to download the notes, what you are supposed to do, we just download an app. You log into the e-learning, then you can be reading your notes, even if you don't have internet connections. So step number 1, we are going to the Play Store. We are going to the Play Store. I don't know, let me see. Let me see if I can. Okay. But let me allow this person to unmute. Switch to window. Yeah, I think that is it. So let me go again to where I was sharing the screen. Let me go again to where I was sharing the screen.
Let me share again.
Let me share again.
Sorry for that. So let me try again and share the screen. Yeah. So we go to Play Store. Here it is. Then we search for an app called Moodle. Moodle is MOODLE. Moodle. We click on search button. And here it is, the first one, the Moodle, that's the orange color with a graduation cup at the top of the letter M. So we are going to install that app. If I click on install, it's downloading. So mark the name of the app is called Moodle. It's downloading. Let me give it time. And we'll just take note, we'll guide others on what to do. It's installing. After installing, then I'm going to open this app. That's how it appears. You allow it. The good thing with this app, if there's something online, it has a calendar that can notify you. So if maybe you have a cut, it will notify you that you have a cut set to be done at a particular day or time. So for those who maybe miss out cuts or important events on the e-learning, this app comes in handy. So select maybe Alana. Now here is very important. Enter your e-learning address, URL. That is e-learning. Take note. Can take even a screenshot. e-learning.kibu.ac.ke. This is our current link to access the e-learning. Although this link changes, sometimes maybe I migrate the server from one URL to another. Like if you can remember vividly, last time we were using online learning, but I migrated this server to another host. So the URL might change. And the best way you can get the URL, you go to the Kibabu University website, you click on the e-learning. The address that's displayed when loading, that's the active address of the e-learning. Hope we understand these things. Gen Z, nikisema URL is just a link that you use to access our website. Like help, what's the URL for help? www.hef.co.ke, something like that. So the URL for our active e-learning is elearning.kibu.ac.ke. So e-learning is the subdomain of Kibu, which is the main domain. Then .ac, it means an academic website. .ke, it means it is domiciled in Kenya as a region. Let me not confuse that. So that's elearning.kibu.ac.ke. I click on go. It is loading. So it's asking me to enter the username and the password. This is what you usually use to log in. Don't know what's my default. Let me use reg. So enter your reg number or whatever you have been using to log into the e-learning. Let me try and guess this one if it works. Or I changed. Let me try and see. I changed this one to use 24. Okay, let me change it. It's like I forgot the password. There's a way you know how to change the password. I think I shared you some guideline how you can reset the password and the link sent to a student email. There's a guide that I shared some time back. One. Stock 23. 23, 24. Just hold on. I'm setting the password to log into this. Oh yeah, it's reg. It was reg 11 stock 25. This is my reg number that I usually use to test the system. So I'm logging to the e-learning of Kibabi University. Yeah. So you see, like you can turn on the alerts. Okay. So that if there's an event, this app will alert me. If there's a cut, it will alert me the same way an alarm usually alerts you. So let me turn on that. Here, allow. Let me allow that. Just the same way you usually do. I want to enroll into a course. So let me enroll to KUC. This is KUC 1250. KUC 1250. So I search the course first using the course code, right? Click on this search button to bring me the course, quantitative skills. I click on it. At the bottom, hapo chini inaniambia enroll me in this course. Click on enroll me. You know the enrollment key, right? KUC 1250. Step. No, it's Jan. Because we're in January. Jan. 2025. Yeah. The good thing with this app allows you to see whatever you are typing. So I click on enroll me to this course. KUC 1250. Wait. What am I missing? Oh, I'm 2026. Oh, I've not updated with my memory. KUC 1250 Jan 2026. All right. I click on enroll me. Yeah, it has accepted. And here's the content for those who are saying, oh, notes ziko wapi? Notes ndio hizo at your fingerprint, your fingertip. Yeah, Millicent, you're right. KUC 1250 Jan 2026. So hizi ni notes yenye mnasema sijui notes, hata kuna notes za budgeting ziko wapi? Acha nitafute nizisome. Mbona watu wa business mnatung'aria sana class, si ndio? Hii topic 3 endeleka amefunzanga ya budgeting. Let me click on these instructions. Okay, let me go back. Lecture notes on budgeting. Ndio hizo. Sasa watu wa business next lesson wallahi. Pia mimi nitauliza maswali. Tunaona ndio hizo vitu nileka amekuwa kifunza. Wonderful. So that's KUC 1250, right? I want to look for another course. Let me look for KUC. What's HIV? What's the course code for HIV? KUC 12? Is it 1230? Hata mimi najua course code kualiko. Ndio mlikuja campus kufanya. Look at this, guys. So that's KUC 1230. I click on it. That is it. Aya, watu wa EPM tulia. You are next. So let me enroll to KUC 1230. Enroll me in this course. Hapo chini. Mbona hapo chini? Enroll me in this course. Click on it. Enroll me key again. KUC 1230. Na click kwa hiyo macho so that you can see whatever you are typing in. Jan 2026. Enroll me that course. And here's the content. Let me check. I was doing something. Watu wa EDF. Kuna wanafunzi wanafanya EDF 1210. Wanafunzi wa education. Get ready. You're next. So I'm just working on the common courses. Other courses we just do the same steps. I'm just trying to check on case on EDF 1210. So you see what were KUC 1230? I think it's course done by all undergraduate students except School of Nursing, because School of Nursing ama daktari, they do it as a special unit. So, and the content's there. In case you have any issues accessing any content here, I will update it. Alafu najua your link watu natuma ya YouTube. When the class is over, you can still click that link and just go through what the lecturer has been teaching. That's the good of that link for YouTube. So even from lecture 1, if you miss lecture 1, you can still go access that link then everything that's done is being recorded. Hey, he hasn't. Let us go now to KUC. No, not KUC. Someone asked about EDF. Well, EPM, Abu Nipezo my course code. That's what is EPM. Give me a full course code so that I check. If not, tutani DM kwa WhatsApp, then I will map it to the e-learning. Wanafunzi wa education, kuna course mnaifunzwa kesho na Dr. Sarah Likoko. Inaitwa EPM 1210, Introduction to Education. So let me search for that. You see what I have done? For you to search for a course, you go back to site home. Go back to site home. Then I search my course here. EPM 1210. Click on search. So this course is for students who are doing education. Kama sio mtu wa education, don't enroll to this course. Only for teachers. Well, that's what I mean. Okay. So I click on EPM 1210. I click on enroll me. Enter the enrollment key. That is EPM 1210 Jan 20. What has happened? EPM. Oh, I have big fingers, so I'm struggling to type on my phone. EPM 1210 Jan. Vidole nono. 2026. Click on enroll me to this course. EPM 1210. 1210 okay. This is my course. It's any place now. EPM 12. Let me check. Na watu washaingia. Watu washa enroll. EPM 1210. Enrollment key is EPM. Oh, supposed to be 2026. Mbona mimi niliweka 2025? Let me change 2026. Yeah, I think should work now. Enroll me. I'll tell you. EPM. Refresh. I think imekubali. That is EPM 1210 Jan 2026. Nilimwona wanafunzi education na ashaingia. The likes of Abu Akari and Anastasia, Bolcap, Bravin. I can see you from my side. Important point. I wanted to show you how to download these courses. I wanted to show you. Maybe I want to make your life so easy. Nafanya kazi yenyu kwa rahisi sana kwa campus. Oh, I'm also live. I'm also live on YouTube. I see. Yeah. So I want now to show you how I can download these courses. Nime-enroll kwa hizi courses na I want to access this content offline Offline means that I'm going to read without internet access. That's what I mean. Nataka usome hizi notes kama hauna internet. But now, when it comes to the cut, I refer or I recommend you use the old method. The old method means that you go to the Kibabi University website, you click on the e-learning, log in, do the cut. Hope you got me. Don't use the app because it might malfunction. It might not function. I don't know which word can I use. So I recommend when you are doing a cut, where Stella Wafula, EPM 1210 Jan 2026. That's the enrollment key. First, you search the course using the course code. Step number 1. Once you have found the course, you click on that course, then you select enroll me. Ask you to enter enrollment key. Enrollment key, the course code plus Jan for January 2026. One word, capital letters, no spaces. Hata mtoto wa PP2, those are simple instructions. Someone's asking about SBL 1210. Let me search for SBL. SBL 1210 I go. So this guy who have asked about SBL 1210, inquire from the course lecturer. If the course lecturer says that he has developed the content on the e-learning, utani DM. I'm a class rep and DM. I will sort you out. Now, I have enrolled to my courses. So if I want to access those courses, nakuja hapa, na click my courses. Hii icon iko na kofia graduation. I click on that. And these are the courses that I have enrolled. And it shows how far, how much you have accessed the content. Like mine are all 100%, or they are 0%. Oh, why? They are 0% because I have not accessed them. And we said the best way we can capture your attendance is by accessing this content. It means that the system records, or it's like it monitors how frequent you are accessing our content. And that's the only way we can make a conclusion that you are accessing or you are reading, or you are attending a lesson. So learning happens inside the e-learning. Not on the left. So let me show one. Let me show you how I can download content for KUC 1210. So nakuja kwa KUC 1210. I click on it. It opens. Then hapo juu. Unaona hapo juu pali juu kabisa, on the top right corner. In the top right corner, there's something that looks like a download. It looks like a cloud, right? Kuna eye. Umeona kuna eye. I love this icon that looks like a cloud with an arrow pound pointing down. I go and click on that. Then that's course download. Then I can download this course. It's 11 KB. You are not currently connected to Wi-Fi. You are about to download at least. Click OK. It's downloading. So after I have downloaded this course, when I open this Moodle app without internet connection, I'll be able to read the content offline. So utaonyesha wenzako. So mtu asinionyesha how can I access the content? Sijui whatever. Nimekuwa naonyesha na left. We were 700. So we are 100. So allow me to end this lesson. That's how. Let me give time to download, and I'll show you how it looks. How to register the unit. To register, you go to the student portal. To enroll, you go to the e-learning portal. You should know the difference. To register, you go to the student portal. To enroll, you go to the e-learning portal. So my internet's a bit low because I'm very far. I'm in Kitale. So it's downloading, yeah. 50%, 90%, 80%. Yeah, I have downloaded all the content now. Yeah. So when I go back to the courses, I've downloaded KUC1250. So it means I can access this KUC1250 when I'm offline without internet connection. But every time you go online, you need to update. You need to update so that it increases the percentage. As easy as that. Let me unmute everyone so that I can get how to download. Oh, Wi-Fi imepotea. That's why you guys have dropped off. Oh, walai. Ati niko Marakaru. Sasa ni mimi nakushow ama ni wewe? Oh, pardon. Marakaru. Oh, so Wi-Fi imepotea. But sometimes you show other people on how to do this thing. So the Wi-Fi imepotea from your side. So allow me to end this. I think I'll repeat again. No, I can't repeat because this class is being streamed live on YouTube. So ukienda kwa hiyo YouTube, ukimove hapo mbele pale nimeanzia. Sasa acha ni washow. Si tunaenda, acha tuende kwa YouTube basi. Let me stop sharing this. Let me stop sharing this. That Wi-Fi najua imewa let down. Let me share. Where is it? YouTube iko wapi? YouTube iko hapa. Let me share my YouTube. YouTube ndio hii. So nikienda YouTube, nikiplay hii video. Okay. Hapa.
Okay. Utaona what I have been doing. Unaona? So the good thing that everything have been recorded down. Everything have been recorded down. So you can follow that. But I will clip. I don't know if I find time, I will clip that part and share with you again. If I find time, I will download that recording. I clip that part on how to use the app, and then I will share with you. Ndio hiyo iko kwa YouTube bwana. Can I unmute? Let me. So kama unataka kuongea as we wind up una unmute. Tufunge ukurasa. Na nataka kuongea unmute. Wenye walikuwa kwa wifi ya shule tumewapoteza. Yo app inaitwa Moodle. Can I type where can I? Inaitwa Moodle. Moodle. Go to Play Store and search for Moodle. Na nataka kuongea.
Hello?
Yes, all yes.
Nilikuwa nataka kujua after umedownload. Sasa
Yes.
ukiingia hiyo app kama bundles unapata wapi hizo downloads?
Hiyo ni kama tu app yoyote. Once umedownload hizo courses, ukienda tu tena kwa hiyo course ukifungua itafunguka kama umedownload, but kama hujaidownload haitafunguka, itakwambia error. Okay? So it means you need to download all the courses, then ukishaizi download bila wifi, bila bundles, you'll be able to read throughout. But nimesema during cuts, use the normal method, so that because cuts are real time and this app sometimes it might delay and it might not save all your activities. Yeah. Kazi saa maisha imekuwa rahisi. Yeah. At your app in a catastrophe at agree. You know. Just watch what I have shared. Just watch what I've shared, and then anybody else?
Come on.
Anybody?
Hello.
Yes. 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 Someone's talking.
Kama nilisahau kuweka alarm, sasa ndaweka aje?
Utafuta tu kwa hiyo app, kwa hizo settings kuna mahali inakuwezesha. Let me check again kama kuna this place that you can allow it to send you the notifications. Let me just see. I think ukienda hapo kwa app settings, kuna option ya notifications. So kama I'll show you. Yes. Anyone else?
Hello.
Yes.
Nilikuwa nauliza hapa, nimedownload na niambia you can only download 2 courses, na kuna wenye tunafanya course 4 za online.
Bana, mimi nimedownload courses zote bana. Utakuja tuangalie maneno. Mimi nimedownload courses zote. Supposed to allow you to download all the courses. So if you have issues, utakuja nikusaidia at a personal level. Sawa. So allow me to end this lesson so that you can now read. Let me end this lesson, but now use the app to access the content at your free time. Ama kuna jambo lingine? I think that's enough. That's enough. Niangalia watu wa YouTube wanasemaje. Wanasema the number. Watu wa YouTube wametulia. na jambo. Ni mathanks to like nice lecturer, nice leg whatever. Yeah. Kwa YouTube hawa wananga maneno sana. Haya,